guys, this is May from CanDoItBlog.com and YesFinanciallyFree.com. Thanks for joining the live webinar, and thank you guys on Periscope. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, and hopefully Joe will be joining us shortly. He just messaged me on Facebook. He's going to be on this too. Joe Stauffacher. He's a online entrepreneur, has his own business, and he helps businesses rank on Google. Very cool guy. Met him in Dallas at an event. And we're going to be talking about tax strategies that the middle class is out on today. Now, hi Ninja Zero, hi Infinity, welcome guys. So I have a Periscope going on at the same time. We'll see how this goes. But anyways, you can catch the replay on my blog. I'm going to put my blog up, but let me just message Joe super fast and tell him that we are live, because he just messaged me. So I'm going to message him back and say, yes, get on the Hangout. Yes, join in now. Okay, so let's see. He should be coming on soon. And then I'm going to start off with my story, just to let you know who I am. And I'm going to put my name on the screen. If you're on Periscope, just look at my profile and figure out who I am. And click on my blog link, and you can see this live on my blog instead of watching on Periscope. But it's up to you, whatever makes you happy. So I'm going to put in my name on this for you guys. Sorry I didn't do it in advance. Had some technical issues, but they're all over because my computer feels better now. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I'm going to put this on, put this up. Okay, so my name is May Dolbelau. I put one of my blogs up, CanDoItBlog.com. I also have YesFinanciallyFree.com. For those of you on Periscope, that's the blog on my profile. So just go there and check it out, okay? So let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name, like I said, was May, and I started an online business back in 2008, the end of 2008, okay? And I was wanting to make money online. Then I found out some other things that were really, really fascinating, okay? So first thing I found out was when you start your own business, you get a lot of tax write-offs. And I didn't know that when I got started. I just got started because I wanted to make money online. But then I was like, wow, you know, there's a lot of tax write-offs that I didn't know about, right? And at the time I hired a business coach, and they told me to get a bank account for my business, file my business with the state, and wherever, get the federal ID number, and, you know, set up my business properly. So I did all that. I got articles of incorporation, I created an LLC, which wasn't that hard to do, but I just did it. They told me do it, and I would just do it. And the next year, I didn't know how to file my taxes because I had this LLC that I didn't know how to, you know, I didn't know what to do, because it's like, now I have a business, what do I do? It was a home-based business, right? It was a blog, but I didn't know what to do. So I hired an accountant for the first time. I never had an accountant before, but I hired one because I'm like, I need help with my taxes. And after I did that, I got back, like, I think I only invested about $1,000 or so into starting that online business, but I got back over $3,000 in taxes that year, and I was like so shocked because I'd never done that before. You know, I was like, what? You know, I'm like, I didn't know you could just start a business and you could write off so many things, and then you would get so much back, right? I was like, wow, my business cost me like $1,000, but I got back $3 grand, you know, $3,000. I just made money just from the tax savings. I was like, whoa, you know. So I never looked back since. And since then, I actually started you know, making money with my business. So my business actually is something that I enjoy doing, and it makes money. But back at the time when I first started, it wasn't making any money, right? So this is what we're going to be talking about today. Now, a little bit more about myself and my story is, let me just make sure Joe's over there and he's coming on. Let's go, Joe. Hey, Joe, I see you, but I can't get on. Ah, good to know. Okay, so let me send Joe the join link again and see. I guess it does send a new join link. Let me send Joe the link to join. Check up on Joe. Send it now. Hey, Joe, sending. If you can see me, join in. I hope that's the right one. I think so. It says to join. Sorry, I'm getting my partner to get on here. Let's see if he can get on now. That should be the right link, so we'll see if Joe can get on. But anyways, so talking a little bit about this online business that I started, when I first started, I didn't make money. In the tax strategies, I made money, but the actual business didn't make much money in the beginning. There, Joe's on. Yay, Joe got on. Welcome, Joe. Okay. Thanks for joining us. Sorry, I guess the link to add people will change when you do the hangout again. But nice to know. Hi, Joe. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Okay, good. I'm gonna put my headphones on. But anyway, Joe, why don't you introduce yourself? I introduced myself kind of, sort of, but why don't you introduce yourself since you just hopped on?
Okay. My name is Joe Stopker, and part of my passions are ethical, ecological, and empathetic business practices. So I love seeing people use the entrepreneur systems that exist for growth and helping people understand that there's empowering perspectives for how money works. And there's a lot of things that are surrounding this topic that we chose today about taxes and the middle class and beliefs and money stuff. So I'm excited to be here today.
Tell them a little bit more about you.
About me? Well,
something interesting.
I'm a complete natural health enthusiast.
Yeah, he totally is a total geek. Totally about that.
So, I like showing up in the world in better ways to make it more sustainable, and finding ways where we can be ecologically friendly and we can invest in the future and take care of our great world. So is that enough about me? You want more about me? What do you want to hear about me, man?
Well, did you mention how you used how you learned about tax strategies, like the first time you ever learned about it?
Oh, yeah.
How it affected your life?
Well, I mean, I guess the big thing is I started seeing different people in the world that were doing things one way, where they're working a job and they're in corporate America, and they basically hit a glass ceiling. Like, you can only put in so much time and your salary can only be so much. So then you kind of like look at that and it's like 30 years out, and do you want to take 30 years to achieve a certain lifestyle and amount of money because of compound interest, or do you want to achieve that type of financial success a lot sooner, like I was seeing other people do who were in the entrepreneurial world, or in both worlds, in corporate America and working a home-based business from home, or they had a spouse or somebody else that was involved in being an entrepreneur. And I've been an entrepreneur for a long time. I started my first business was mowing lawns and shoveling snow, like 6th and 7th grade. So I've just always had kind of that entrepreneurial bug and seeing how the money worked. And that's kind of what got me involved. I see a lot of people miss out on the tax advantages that someone can get and reap from, being in the corporate America while doing the personal growth side and entrepreneurial growth side. That I think you disappeared on me, May. But so it's just seeing those two worlds. Like, I wanted to be on the entrepreneurial side. I think May sent me a message. Hold on one second. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying. Basically, when I was 18 is when I started first getting introduced to. Okay, I think we're still going. When I was first 18 is when I first got introduced to this idea of network marketing, and was it right or was it wrong? And I guess I started to see the belief issues around that when it was reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki's book about his rich dad and his poor dad, and kind of the different mindsets that those people had. And I had seen that for myself in watching people who, they were just going to do the corporate thing. They were just going to do the job thing. And yet they were always frustrated about their money. And then I saw other people that were just out and they were working the hustle, and they were doing whatever they could to be part of a company and start earning more money, and seeing that the world worked differently. And the government and how those rules are laid out, it's just completely different. Entrepreneurs get certain advantages and versus employees do. Let's see, May send me another message here. Okay, so she'll be back. Her computer died. So a good example of this is right now, kind of like on our modern voting election that just took place, right? Like Hillary Clinton was talking about the importance of small business and how small business is the most important thing for our economy. And, she criticized Donald Trump and his taxes and, what he was doing financially and how he was using the system. And then there was Donald Trump, and he's like, yeah, I'm smart, so I'm using it right. And so it was real interesting to see how some people judged Trump because he was using the system, and then other people love Trump because they're using the system too. So, like, who's right? The people who are using the system, or the people who are not using the system but complaining about those who are using the system? And I really think that, for a lot of these changes to exist in our world, we need more people to learn to use the system until we get to a point where, there's enough people using the system that they decide that, the system needs to be tweaked and changed. But when so many people in the middle class are not using the system, not using, how our laws work for them to make money, it just gets to be kind of hard, because then they sit on the side and they scream that that's wrong, but they're not out there doing anything. So the entrepreneurs who are using it and doing it are, they're like, come on, stop complaining and start taking advantage of it. So there's a lot of, I was really excited to do this chat here with May, just because of if she comes back, hopefully she comes back. Just because they're here, I think she's coming.
Hi,
there you are. I've just been rambling. I love it.
I put another computer. I changed to my husband's computer, which was behind me, because I was like, when I was about to start, my computer died, which is why I was late, and then it died again. We'll figure this out. So anyways,
what I've been rambling about was kind of like the differences in the tax systems and kind of getting into the beliefs. And I was talking about, Hillary Clinton talking about the importance of small business being like the lifeblood and force of our economy. And then I was talking about Donald Trump and how some people, are like, he's super smart, he's taking advantage of the system. And other people are like, he's evil, like he's doing this wrong and he's a bad person. So I was kind of getting into the different types of belief issues that arise in people.
Oh, okay, great. That's a good one.
So it's like, it's cool to see the economy work in one way, because people are understanding, like, that's the life force, that's what's supposed to be done, like, use your money to be empowering, versus, the people who are just screaming on the side and not doing anything about it. They're just being like, oh, that's wrong and that's crooked and you shouldn't do it.
Right.
And then, part of what, you and I had talked about when we wanted to have this conversation is, we see a lot of people that are even in small business and starting home-based businesses who completely forget to take advantage of those tax benefits. Like they for whatever reason, like, they know they exist, but they don't use it.
Right.
Which to you and I was like silly. Like, why are they giving up this free money? And, is it because they have a belief issue that's like, I shouldn't be allowed to make that money? Or because they, I don't know, you and I are like, why aren't they getting their money?
Yeah. Actually, did you talk about how that works at all?
No, I didn't really get into that.
I'll talk about it briefly, just so people who might not even know this exists know what we're talking about. Basically, there are, and yay, my name popped up. Yay, it's kind of slow on this computer, but anyway, that's my name. Joe, you should put your name on the screen. Maybe he's doing that now. Okay. Okay, Joe's blog too. But anyway, I wanted to share with you a blog post that I prepared on my other computer that died. But anyway, basically, what we're talking about that middle class people and a lot of people don't take advantage of these strategies is if you own your own business, and it can be any kind of business. If you just saw the movie The Accountant, did you see that movie The Accountant, Joe?
No, my parents did, and it sounded really good though. I want to go see it.
It's actually really good. It's kind of violent. Don't like violent movies much, but it's really good. So, you know, I'll probably only see it one time, but it's really good. But one thing in it, the guy's an accountant, right? And he does accounting for criminals, right? Really, really bad criminals. So he has to be a really bad ass kind of accountant, and he is. So it's pretty cool. But this amazing scene in The Accountant is this couple, you know, this older couple are in his office, and they're all worried because they can't afford their tax payment this year. You know, oh, I guess we'll have to, you know, take out a loan or sell something. You know, they're really, really worried. And he's sitting in front of them, and he just looks at the wife, right? And he's like, "Did you make that necklace?" And she's like, "Yeah, I did." And she's like, "Do you like it?" And he's like, "No, not really." And then he's like, "Did you ever sell one?" And she's like, "Yeah, some people at my church buy it." He's like, "Home-based business, right?" And then he's like, "So where did you buy your," she's like, "Well, I wouldn't know if I'd call it a business." He's like, "Where did you buy your materials?" And he's like, "Well, I buy them at, you know, the whatever store, you know, where they have beads." And he's like, "And how do you get there?" "I drive the truck." And he's like, company car. Okay, so what am I getting at here? This scene in The Accountant, which is so funny, you should see the movie The Accountant, okay? If you don't understand what I'm talking about, have a very low attention span to money, but want to be entertained and learn about this, watch The Accountant. Okay, it's fun, and it'll show you a little bit about taxes. But anyway, what happens is he starts deducting all the expenses she has to put in to make those necklaces, and she makes them at home. So he's like, and he asks her next question. He's like, "Where do you make these at home?" And she's like, "You know, the living room." And she's like, or wherever she says. And he's like, "So what % of your house is that?" Right. And then the husband he's like, "I don't know, like 5. And the accountant is like going like this. It's like 10. The accountant's going like this, like 20. He keeps like, like trying to tell like what % of their home is their home office. Now it's kind of, you know, it's really good. You should see the scene, okay? But it basically tells you exactly what you do when you do deductions in your home-based business. If you're making necklaces like this woman, you have to go buy supplies, right? So you can deduct how much you spend on the beads and the strings and whatever, right? You can deduct the mileage on your car, right, that you use to drive to the store to buy the beads. Yeah, you can deduct part of your rent in your house that you use as the space to create the necklaces. Yeah, does that make sense so far? You can deduct part of the utilities, your electricity, because you need light to put the beads on the strings, right? You know, you can deduct part of your water. You know, you need a working bathroom in your workspace, right? Part of your sewage, you know, everything. You can deduct part of all of your home expenses if you have a home-based business, right? Because you have to use those things to create your business. And then, you know, you obviously have to claim the income you make from selling the necklaces and pay whatever taxes you have to make on that income. In Hawaii, we have this general excise tax. Every time you make money, you have to pay general excise tax, right? So you have different things you can claim if you have a home-based business. And that's one example is this necklace. And I just think of it because I just saw this movie 2 weeks ago. It's very salient in my mind because he goes right through it. Like right there, that scene is so good. So if you don't understand this, go watch that movie, The Accountant. If you're not in the United States, sorry, it'll probably come out in half a year. But, you know, it's a good movie. So just put it in your queue. But basically, that's the idea. If you have a home-based business, you can deduct things that you don't normally deduct off your taxes. Now, if you're just a wage earner, if you just have a job and you just make money and you don't have a home-based business, you get taxed on your full income, right? Now, if you have a home-based have a job, you suddenly get to deduct things like part of your rent, part of your, you know, some mileage. You get to deduct your supplies. You get to deduct electricity, phone, you know, partial, you know, whatever you use for your business. And after you start deducting those things, your taxable income goes down, right? So the amount that the federal government and your state government, if your state has taxes, the amount that they can tax you on goes down, which means your tax burden is lower. For a lot of us who have jobs, what happens the first year is that we get this huge refund check when we start a home-based business, because we're deducting like our monthly paychecks. We're taking out money for taxes, right? And we're taking out too much because we're used to just paying what we do for the job. And then when we start a home-based business, it's like, you know, you get an accountant to help you. You should get an accountant. You probably can't afford the one in the movie, but that's okay. Get an accountant to help you. Actually, he was pretty affordable. That was his front. So, but I don't know about, it's just funny. Get an accountant to help you. All right. As soon as I started my business, I got an accountant because it just suddenly got a little more complicated than I wanted it to be. Some people don't get accountants, you know, but I would suggest you do. And everything I'm talking about here, you want to go over it with an accountant. I'm not an accountant. Joe's not an accountant. Joe, are you an accountant? You're not an accountant.
No,
yeah, okay. So you definitely want to get an accountant's advice. So what we're talking about is general stuff that we know because of our experience, but our accountant actually does our taxes. So you need to talk to an accountant about this. But the basic principle is that the accountant will know what you can deduct from your taxes. And then once that's done, if you're like a regular person making money and a regular job, you might find, like we did, well, I don't know about Joe, but my story is that I was working a job and then I started my home-based blogging business because I really wanted to learn how to make money online, right? So I started blogging. And I got back like $3,000, you know, based on my salary. That's how much I got back. And I put in like 1,000 something to start up my business, and I got back 3,000. I was like, whoa. And I was really surprised. Like, I was like, what the, you know, where did this money come from? Because I didn't understand it. And I didn't even understand it until I got the money back. You know, I hired the accountant. I went through the motions because I was supposed to, but I didn't know what would happen until I actually got my refund check in my hand. And I was like, holy smokes, that's a lot of money to get back from my taxes. Now, I don't know about you. It depends on your income. It depends on if you even live in the United States to take advantage of these tax advantages, but your country might have similar things. I'm not sure, honestly. Like I said, you have to talk to your accountant. But the point is that there are these things in the tax code, and they help business owners, right? Because if you have a business, and it's not the easiest thing to create a business, get an office outside, that's a lot of money. So a lot of people do businesses from home. You know, it's more economical, especially when you're starting out. You don't have the money to go rent an office. So you start at home, so you deduct your home expenses, and that are pertaining to your business. Other things you can deduct are like if you travel for your business, you can deduct the airfare, your lodging, your meals while you're traveling. If you have meals with clients, you can deduct half. According to US law right now, is half of the expenses you use to pay for meals. You can deduct half of that. There's a lot of things. And actually, my blog, if you go to yesfinanciallyfree.com, not candoitblog.com, I'll put that on there for you. I have 2 blogs, but let me see it. There's a blog post that I have that I actually bookmark myself. It's funny. I'm trying to type on my husband's computer with my keyboard. It's hilarious. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. Anyway. If you go to my blog on financial freedom, I have a post on the actual deductions. Yes, financially free. Let me see if I can spell it right for you guys.com. There it is, backwards. Hold on. Okay. Yes, financiallyfree.com. So on that blog, if you search for tax, like tax, you'll get the blog on it. It's basically the deductions. And I actually took what my accountant gave me, because I label them in my spreadsheet when I handle my expenses. I couldn't remember the categories, so I took what she gave me and I put it in a blog. So I bookmarked that blog, and every time I do my taxes, I refer to my blog to remember what the heck my deductions are, because it's kind of a long list. But that's what I do to remember them, and I got it straight from my accountant. So you should get it from your accountant too, or you can check out my blog under taxes, and I'll see if I can share it a little bit. But that's the basic gist of how you can take advantage of certain tax strategies when you have your own home-based business. So Joe, do you have anything else you want to add about that, the specific nature of?
I am just really excited, one, that the accountant kind of goes through that model.
That scene is so funny.
Yeah, people are just missing that. You know, that's like, so, I mean, that's why, like, like when we were coming up with the title for this and we were talking about the tax advantages the middle class are missing out on, is because, back in the day, the middle class were the blue collar workers, and they just went to their factory jobs and they did their thing, and then they were saving and they were putting their money into Wall Street, and that was the only thing that was happening, and they became the middle class. But now, those things, the middle, we're $19 trillion in debt. So, people need to start looking at how these things work a little bit differently. And so this is the money that the middle class is missing out on making, by not taking advantage of them. And for the people who, think that there's some sort of corruption and they shouldn't take, people shouldn't be allowed to take advantage of these tax benefits. Congress has them in place because Congress realizes how important, small business is to our economy and our GDP. So, I guess I just wanted to bring this up again, that, Congress has these laws in place because it's really good for us. So if we get more middle class, blue collar workers that are starting to take advantage of these tax benefits, and they're starting to understand, the entrepreneurial journey of growth and how money works, like, we have a whole new type of middle class in our country. And that's really powerful. So I was excited to do this topic with you, May, because I guess I'm pretty passionate about, the people should be becoming small businesses and going on that growth journey. I don't like the story that, not everybody's an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur it's just growth and understanding money. So not everybody has to be the genius entrepreneur of like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs or something. You can take advantage and be an entrepreneur while not being the visionary person of it. So that's what I got to say.
Yeah, no, Joe, it's good to see you passionate about stuff. Maybe you'll take that online more. Yeah, good to see you online. Joe's kind of shy. He hides out like a little mouse. Like, come out, Joe, come out, Joe. But he's got a lot of value. Every time he talks about something, I learn a lot from him, actually. And in the morning when I get stuck on like technical stuff, I'm like, Joe, help me. So Joe has a lot to offer on nutrition and on internet marketing, entrepreneurship, all kinds of things. So if you don't know Joe already, go to his blog. He has it up, joesempowerblog.com, right? Did I get it right? joesempowerblog.com. Yep. Super tiny when I'm looking at you. Okay. Okay. So, and I have yesfinanciallyfree.com, candoitblog.com. The difference between the blogs, yesfinanciallyfree.com focuses on financial freedom in general. It talks about tax strategies, talks about passive income through stock investing. It's got everything in there. And then candoitblog.com is all about internet marketing, blogging, and stuff. So today they actually kind of all combine. So I put this webinar on both my blogs because it's like, it's related to both of them. So it's like that way. But yeah, the thing about the feelings that people have about taxes, the reason we're talking about, did you talk about our friend? I'm not gonna say his name, but you talk about our friend who doesn't do it? No, okay, so I'm gonna bring this up now. So not just one friend, we have more than one friend. Actually, I know more than one person who started a home-based business, wanting to make money, wanting to be an entrepreneur, and a lot of them wanted to make money online that I know, because I'm online, so I meet a lot of people who want to make money online, and I offer my services to help people make money online. And so some of them, decide that they want to start their own home-based business and blog and stuff, like I do and like Joe does. And they don't do the tax strategies. See, that's the funny thing for me and Joe to understand, is that some people don't even know about them, which makes sense to me. They're working a job and they don't understand, like the accountant, like that couple, when they were making necklaces, she was making necklaces and she didn't even think that she was doing a home-based business, right? It was just like, I just love making necklaces, and she didn't even think about it that way. There's that kind of person, right? So you don't know about these tax strategies because you just haven't thought about, oh, home-based business, that's a good idea. Now, there are other people who are like, home-based business, that's a great idea, I want to make money online, and yet they still don't do the tax advantages. That's the group that me and Joe were like really confused about, because they actually started a business, they put in capital, right? They actually do it on a weekly, monthly basis. They're actually putting in an effort to create a business, and they're not doing the tax strategies. They're not hiring an accountant. They haven't officially created their LLC or their business. They haven't filed with, they're just paying taxes even though they have a business. And that was the part that me and Joe were a little bit confused about, because I know one part is that people don't know. They don't know that they could create a home-based business. You could create a blog and blog about what you love and create traffic to your blog and sell your services. You know, people don't know about that.
Or sell other people's services through affiliate marketing.
Or sell other people's services, which is what I do actually right now. I don't even sell mine. I sell other people's services. Actually, yeah, I sell my service. If you buy this service, which which I sell as an affiliate, right? You also get me as your like advisor, which is actually very valuable. But anyway, same with Joe. But basically, we were thinking about, why is that? Why is it someone would start a business and put in so much capital, like thousands of dollars into their business, and not take advantage of the tax strategies? So when I was watching The Accountant, and The Accountant is like kind of really gets to this point actually, because he does accounting for illegal businesses, right? And he's kind of shady, right? And the scene where he helps this woman figure out that she has a home-based business, it's kind of got a little bit of a shady feeling too. It's like, I'm not doing a home-based business, just making necklaces for people at my church. And then he turns it into a home-based business. So is that really a legitimate thing to do or not? You know, is that a way to fool the government? You know, because she never thought of driving to the store to buy beads for her necklaces as, you know, a business. And she's not actually having a necklace business. She just makes necklaces and like selling them. But in actuality, she really does have a business. She's selling necklaces, right? So it's kind of like, it's a good scene because it has that feeling of, is this legal or not? Because the accountant, what he does is legal accounting, but then he does it for illegal businesses. So it's really interesting. But I think Joe was saying some people might feel, and I don't know if this is the case, they might feel like they're cheating on their taxes if they don't pay as much as they think they have to, even though they don't. And so I was talking to Joe about it, and I was like, maybe it's people think they don't deserve to have money. Like, it never occurs to them that they're a business owner and they can have wealth and that they deserve to be successful and have wealth in their life. That was one of the thoughts that came to my head. But Joe, what were your thoughts?
I mean, every entrepreneur goes through some time of discovering that they've got this like belief issue around money. And maybe it's that they just don't believe that they should receive that type of wealth. I mean, there's so many different belief issues around money that it's like hard to pick and choose and say like, oh, this person has this, or oh, this person has that. But like, if you're listening to us and you're feeling any sort of like angst, like that's so normal. Like, it's normal for people to have money belief issues. And I've been to so many different entrepreneurial events and met so many different entrepreneurs. You know, I know that when people have breakthroughs and they get to that next monetary level, like there's always a shift in their belief. And a lot of the time that shift in belief has to do with money. I mean, to me, it's just kind of like a plain and simple fact almost that like when you're going to get to next levels financially, like you're going to have to go through some sort of a belief change. You know, you're going to have to recognize and see things a little bit differently. And as you were talking, one of the other things that was kind of coming up for me was Robert Kiyosaki and Donald Trump's book, Why We Want You to Be Rich. And in that book, you know, they're promoting that people get into home-based businesses. They're promoting that people go through that growth process. You know, like, you know, somebody doesn't want to be a salesperson, so they're not going to go into that. But at the same time, like every salesperson is on a journey of growth. Every financial advisor is on a journey of growth. So it's like you see the financial system that people want to like occupy Wall Street. But those individuals are doing the same things that every entrepreneur is doing. And they're just going through growth and they're learning belief issues and and they're going through all these changes. So if anything of this, like, you know, felt shady to you or something popped up that just didn't feel right, like, that's normal. Like, dig deeper in that, figure out what that is, because
Go ahead.
yeah, I was just, you know, because that's powerful. Like, that's kind of like the hidden gold almost. Like, when you feel that uneasiness around that issue, like digging deeper into that is what's going to help you bust through it. You know, it's like getting outside your comfort zone, right? Like, all good things happen outside your comfort zone. So becoming comfortable with the uncomfortable is that pattern of being able to grow. And, you know, if we want to see a lot of things get different in our country, we have to take personal responsibility. And one of the best and easiest ways, once we decide that we're going to take that personal responsibility, is having some sort of a business, you know, home-based business, or, you know, starting a local business or whatever it is. You know, there's different investment levels and there's different time commitments to all of these things. So everybody has to kind of like figure out what works best for their life. But you know, I'm always kind of amazed by the number of people that, you know, they don't want to do the home-based business thing because they got their job and they're so busy with it. But then you see, you know, a mom with 7 kids and married and running all the kids' activities and doing all these other things, and somehow they've managed to work a job and have a home-based business along with all their 7 kids and family stuff. So, you know, there's a lot of excuses that I see, and you know, for people, it's easy for them to like almost be like, you don't know what it's like, because they see me and they're like, you're a single guy, like you don't get these things. But then I like see all of the people who might be that married woman with 7 kids that's making it happen. So I just, you know, I never really fall for their excuse that I'm the single guy, so I've got time, and they don't, because I see moms with 7 kids that make the time and get out there and make it happen. So, you know, I guess, like, you know, with this election time, and we've talked about Trump and Hillary and the different stuff, like, that's the fastest way that we can really change our country. You know, like, I'm a big believer that entrepreneurs can change the country faster than politicians can.
Well, taking responsibility for our own wealth, right? Instead of saying, oh, create more jobs, right? Isn't that funny? Create more jobs. Really, we should take responsibility to create more jobs instead of telling others to create more jobs, right? Isn't that?
Yeah,
like, take responsibility for your personal finance, right?
Absolutely.
I didn't even think of that till now, because you're talking about it. I'm like, we always hear, you know, create more jobs, create more jobs. It's like,
when we can each create our own job by becoming an entrepreneur.
Right. And if our business grows, we can hire people.
Totally.
Right. You know, and you can employ people, right? I mean, I already contract people to do certain jobs already, right? You can have full-on staff when you get big enough, right?
It's all part of the growth process.
Yeah. So was there anything that you, just a quick one, because I'm actually volunteering this, I have a busy Saturday morning. I'm volunteering for, what is it, Boys and Girls Club of Hawaii. And Boys and Girls Club of Hawaii, they match up adults with kids that are in, I guess, families that maybe need additional mentoring, I guess. So they match up professionals with kids to like mentor them, you know, be their friend and, you know, hang out. And so they're having a drive where they're collecting clothes and bikes and everything, you know, I have a whole list this long, and I'm actually volunteering to staff the drive, and I'm bringing stuff too this morning. So I have to load my car and get out of here at 7:45. So I really do have to be careful on time. And I just checked my clock and I'm like, okay, I'm okay. Usually these hangouts are half hour long. I started kind of late and it was kind of glitchy, but we're going to end soon, but stay on, because go ahead.
I want to talk real quick, because like a lot of time, you know, as long as we're talking about belief issues, you know, a lot of the times people have certain belief issues about rich people, right? And in my experience, you know, you just brought up that you're going to volunteer.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
In my experience, the wealthy people that I've met all across the place are ridiculously generous with their time and their resources. You know, so as soon as you start to play this game in a manner like, I mean, you just give back to your local community, and that's awesome. So that's really cool that you're going to do that this morning.
Well, thank you, Joe. Yeah, actually, I donated more to charity than I've ever done in my life just recently. Yeah. Yeah, I donated $1,000 one day to a charity. I've never donated $1,000 to one charity in one day, because that's not all the money I've donated to charities this year. That's just one charity in one day. So I just did that recently. I've never had the financial capacity to do that before. So it's a big deal for me, to be able to give that much. I've been doing, the first time I had the feeling of being truly wealthy was when I was at a Pro Bowl, and they were having an auction of football. We have a Pro Bowl party actually in Hawaii, because Pro Bowl comes here a lot, right? So I went to the Pro Bowl party, and they were having a Special Olympics auction of football signed by football players. I'm a Bills fan, if you want to know. Okay. But anyway, so they had a football signed by a Bills player, and I wanted it. I was like, this is cool. So I was bidding, right? And it was so fun to bid in an auction. I thought it was so cool. And it was for charity, right? And I just kept bidding, and I won the football. I was so excited. I won it for $300, and I had the money. I have a special bank account for charity, and I had the money in the account. So I could just buy the football, and I just felt so wealthy. I felt so rich, good at getting my football, and stuff. And I gave it to my dad for Christmas. But it was like the best feeling, to have money to give to charity, and learning these techniques. Yes, financiallyfree.com is dedicated to the self-education on how to create financial freedom. That's something that I'm very passionate about, and that includes giving to charity and creating different accounts so that you can actually feel wealthy and feel good about it. But I wanted to ask you a real quick question though before we end, is did you have a breakthrough mentally that brought you into entrepreneurship about money that you want to share with people, like a personal story?
I kind of did that when you disappeared, actually.
Oh, you don't have to repeat it.
I was talking about being and like realizing the idea of working for 30 years more versus, how can you start to accumulate wealth, from compound effort instead of compound interest.
Right. But what was what made you switch over? Like, what do you think mentally made you decide to switch over? Like, did you have a limiting belief before that you had to replace?
For me, I don't really think it was a limiting belief that I needed to replace. Like I saw drastically two different belief systems in like the people around me. Like some people behaved this way and some people behaved another way. And then for me, it was just making the choice that like, I feel like doing it this way is taking advantage of, and taking advantage of is almost like the wrong words almost, because, call a game, right? So you're either playing by the game or you're not. So it was like people were playing by the game and people were not. And it was like, well, do I want to play by the game? And that comes back to like almost the personal responsibility part. Like I wasn't going to sit on the sideline and blame other people who seem to be the people who are in the game who are playing it. So I just had to choose to get in the game. And my background was a little bit different in terms of, I worked for corporate America for that small period of time. And then I just went back to the entrepreneur thing because, I didn't like the idea of getting a check and losing 40% of the check before I even receive it. Where in the entrepreneurial world, like you take the money in and then you pay the government versus the government get paid before you even get it. And that was probably that was probably the biggest.
That depends how you do your exemptions on your paycheck, actually. But yeah, go on.
Yeah. And absolutely. But that was like the big thing for me. It was like, do I want my whole paycheck, and then I can pay when I pay for my expenses and pay for everything else, and then I pay the government, or do I just want to get money that it's not all there? So
yeah, maybe that's the first belief shift that people can do watching this. If you have a job and you don't have your own business, maybe you can start by not withholding so much from your paycheck. Put it aside in an account, call it a tax account, and when taxes are due, pay it from the tax account instead of giving the government an interest-free loan.
Right. Because you can be that tax account can be earning you interest.
Yeah, it can be earning you interest. It could be used as leverage to get things like lines of credit or different things, And
for anybody who is working a job, I mean, this is something where, a difference between May and I is she's really good at helping people like get financially free and finding other types of investments that are going to help you do passive income stuff. I was a finance major, but I'm not working in the finance world. May is. So that's awesome.
Yeah, well, that's just I just started doing that with Jamel. Actually, we've been like getting our withholdings to be exactly on target. Every tax year we like owe nothing because we made it exactly like what we had to pay. But now we're actually withholding more. We're like, we'll just pay you when tax season comes. You don't even have to have any of it until tax season comes. But anyway, yeah, so I mean, Joe is completely entrepreneurial right now. I'm still we're still like job world and entrepreneurial on my side of my household. So I understand, I feel for anyone who has a job out there, and having a job is not a bad thing. It's a good thing, you know. We're not dissing people who have jobs. We're basically saying that you can bring forth the value you have to the world and get tax advantages from it by starting your own home-based business and sharing what you do best, right? Which might be for you, it might be making necklaces like the woman in the movie The Accountant, or it could be something like what we do, blogging about something you love online and getting paid for that. Now, if you're interested in doing that, if you're like, you know, I kind of like the idea of making money online like May and Joe, you know, kind of sounds cool. If you're interested in that, then just go to our blog. So if Joe invited you here, go to Joe's blog, go to joesempowerblog.com. And if I invited you, go to yesfinanciallyfree.com or candoitblog.com, and then just click on the link. If you're watching this on my blog, there's a link just under this blog post. You can just click on it, and there's a free video where you can watch other entrepreneurs who blog and they create income online. And you can see if that interests you. And if you like it, just fill in your information. It's going to ask you for your email address. You watch the free video. And then if you like it, you fill in your information, and then you just get started. And then the cool thing is when you get started with either me or Joe, after you start, there's a whole process in there that gets you started, and it's super easy. And that's why I recommend this for people, because when I started my blogging business, I didn't have this like super easy system. I actually had a coach who told me what to do, which costs a lot of money, okay? But this system has these video coaching things that tell you exactly what to do, and everything's set up so well. And the business really is, I think, very optimally designed for a total beginner person who has no idea what they're doing online to start creating income online. So that's why I always recommend it. So yeah, you just get started, and after you get started, me and Joe will give you a call once you go through the pre-system, the videos that tell you what to do to get started. We'll give you a call and do our little coaching with you. So it's really a great system to get started in if you want to do a home-based business on your computer by blogging or doing your own website. So I'm just going to tell you, go to the blog. You can go to my blog, yesfinanciallyfree.com, or go to Joe's blog and you know, check it out for yourself, because it's really a great community, a great place, and you know, it's good to be an entrepreneur. But I finally, by the way, I don't know if I could share my screen. Let me see. Yay, I found the blog. So I'm going to show you guys real quick if I can. And Joe, let me see if it shows up. But this is the blog. Can you see the blog?
Yep.
Okay, so it's how to increase tax savings through categorizing business expenses. You just go to yesfinanciallyfree.com, and there's a little search button thing. You press it and you just type in tax, and then you'll find my blogs on tax, and this is one of them, okay? And this one basically goes through how, you know, what taxable income is, like how to reduce your taxable income through deductions. What deductions you can do. There's personal deductions, and then there's small business income and expenses. And then here I listed out the income and the expenses. Like, it's a straight up list. As you can see, it's not very pretty, but it's just whatever you can deduct or claim, whatever you have to put down as income or whatever you put down as expenses, and it's all there. And that's what my accountant told me to label things. So that I use this like on a constant basis. I bookmarked this blog. So if you guys want to know, you know, the exact things you can deduct and stuff. But like I said, you should always, oh, and like I was saying, if you go to our blogs, you can find out more about what we do and stuff. So let's see. Right there, see this checkout blogging, you can click there and that'll show you more about it on my blog. And Joe's blog also has information. But that's the blog, and that's where the tax deductions are. So I just wanted to share that with everyone, since I wanted you guys to see it. But let me stop sharing. Okay, Joe, do you have anything else you want to add?
I guess the last thing I'd like to add would just be that not all accountants are created equal.
That's true.
So if you see running into issues with the accountant that you're speaking with, you can reach out to May or I, and we can you know, we can send you a link, you know, be an affiliate link, but it goes to accountants who specifically help people with home-based businesses. So if something like that interests you, or you're struggling with your accountant, we'd be happy to help you with that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. My first accountant, oh man, anyway, I was just always uncomfortable, but he had like a bar, you know, you'd go to his house and he had a bar, and then you sit at his bar and he'd bring your tax return out, you know, and offer you a drink. And it was just too sketchy for me. I was just like, this is crazy, you know. And finally I got a female accountant, but that's a whole different issue. But anyway, it was like, oh my God. He was just too sketchy. My new accountant, she's very, you know, professional on the ball. She also has a bar. I guess it's a thing. Accountants all drink liquor, I guess. I don't know what it is. But it's not like you go to her office and sit at her bar and pick up your return. You know, it's kind of like on the side somewhere. If you really need a drink, they'll help you out. But, you know, it was weird. It was the weirdest thing. But that's another story for another day, you know. But, yeah, choose your accountant wisely. Anyways.
Yeah, for sure.
So thanks for joining us, guys. You know, if Joe invited you, go to his blog, contact Joe to get more information on this. If I invited you, message me, you know, find out more. I'm always there. I'm helpful. You know, I have a scope that I do too, all kinds of stuff. So just get to know us. You know, we're cool people. We're real and we're nice. And, and you know, encourage Joe to have more online presence so we can learn more from him. Joe, come out. Okay. He's laughing because he knows what I'm saying is true. Okay, so have a nice day, everyone. So the light outside now. I'm gonna go volunteer.
Thanks, man. Enjoy the.
Yeah, hopefully you'll be on again soon. Don't hang up after this. But see you guys on the next webinar. It's gonna be Saturday, 6:30 a.m. Hawaii time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. What time is it for you, Joe? That the webinar starts
now, but we started 10:30.
10:30 a.m. Wisconsin time. What do you call that? Is that Central? I don't even know. What is it? Is it Central time?
Yep, Central Standard
Time. Central Standard Time. There you go. Thanks, guys. Aloha. See you next time.